In this video, we're going to be covering step 2, choosing the most profitable niche for your digital agency. Now, the end goal of this training is so that you understand what industry you want to work with. And I want to kind of preface all this with like, well, what is niching down? Like, why do we have to niche down? Niching down is simply a tool to create content and offers that resonate deeper with higher quality clients. That's going to allow you to make money faster and make the fulfillment side go faster. So you can collect money faster and you can give to your client what they want to buy from you much faster. That is the simplest way to put it down. Niching down is simply a tool, okay? So that's the purpose of this training. I want you to understand the industry that you want to work with so that way you can go ahead and start creating offers, your website, your funnel, creating your content, reaching out to people. Now, who am I and why is this free? My name is Alec. I work with Go High Level marketing, automation, and creative agencies focused on local service-based businesses. Now, I own Say So Funnels. That's my done for you, done with you consultation agency where we essentially help build and operate these businesses. Part of Say So Funnels is Say So University. That is my do-it-yourself or done with you DIY DWI group setting where I coach agencies, and it's completely free to any affiliate on my Go High Level. So if you are a Go High Level affiliate of mine, you can come in at the lowest package, the medium package, the highest package. You will get access to absolutely everything for 100% free. If you're not using High Level, and let's say you're like more of a Zoho person or you want to do your own custom SWAS builds with WordPress and other tools, perfectly fine. You can pay direct to join for $97 a month. Now, not that you care, but just to show you guys that I'm not just talking in a theoretical sense, but I actually have applied what I'm doing to not just my agency, but others' agencies. Here's some screenshots from Say So University. Just within 5 months of having set up, we hit a 20K month. Screenshots can be fake, so if you didn't know that, you can easily fake Stripe screenshots. So let's say I fake that. Here are some DMs that you can see and you can check to see that I'm legit. I didn't put them all here because then the page would be like 200 pages long. So if you go to my Instagram, you can go to my client wins and testimonials. You can click through those. You can see way more. And I'm going to be linking another video here. Right now, I just have the first installment. One of my favorite student success stories where I had a friend of mine lived in Pakistan. We got him to 4K in monthly recurring revenue in less than 4 months. Now he's actually sitting closer to 8,700. So that was his first interview that we did after 4 months. We're going to do another interview. But I basically projected that he was going to hit 100K in a year in before summer, and he's already at that mark. 8,700 is absolutely crazy with in less than 6 or 7 months, right? And again, I'm only showing you these to say I know what I'm talking about and that this has not only worked for me, but also for my clients. So I work with digital agencies. My clients work with local businesses. This is not just some weird like pyramid scheme where it's like, okay, well, I did it. Now you go out and find your people. No, my agencies or my clients are agencies. My clients' clients, my students' clients are actual local service-based businesses, okay? Now, why am I giving away this course for free? Well, because I want 3 things to happen. Number 1, I want to grow my online brand and presence. So I'm trying to give as much value as I can. I want there to be so much value that if you watching this, yes, you, don't look around, if you watching this, if this helps you make you money, and then you think, okay, well, he helped me solve this problem or he helped me get to the next level. I want to solve another problem or I want to get to another higher level. Then you would want to come and work with me because I'm giving you free value as opposed to other people who are just constantly trying to sell you, right? So I want you to want to work with me in some way, shape, or form. I'm only going to do that if I give you value and show you that I know what I'm talking about. And let's say, number 3, that you never want to work with me. Perfectly fine. I'm going to save you from losing money by paying somebody who's going to charge 6K for the same stuff I'm giving to you for completely free here. And yes, I have several people telling me that they've paid 5, 6, 10K for the less value than what I'm going to share with you here. And if you don't want to pay me, perfectly fine. YouTube will pay me. So I'm going to monetize these videos. YouTube will pay me. And if you're somebody who's going to get upset that you have to click a skip ad button because I'm trying to get paid to give you free stuff and I'm not asking you to pay me, maybe find a therapist for that deep-rooted anger. I can't help you. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the actual substance of this conversation, of this training. Why do you need to niche down? Niching down is crucial if you want targeted messaging and streamlined operations. The intention is to find clients easier and collect money faster through focused fulfillment, because it's one thing to sell quick. It's another to actually give them what they wanted so you can move on to the next couple of clients, right? Now, the number one fear that I hear from people who say they don't want to niche down is that they think that they're going to lose potential leads. Well, if I'm only working with this small section of the market, I'm going to lose everybody else I'm not working with. Completely wrong. You're completely wrong. Here's why. Number 1, when you niche down, you're going to attract clients substantially faster. When your content is specific to a niche's pain point, to an avatar's pain point, it's going to resonate far better than just generic business advice that's lost in the noise with all the other failing entrepreneurs. If you're making general marketing content and you're like, why is my engagement so low? It's because you're getting lost in the noise. You're just making content for people, anybody, hoping that somebody will resonate with it and you'll get a client, right? You need to be targeting who you're speaking to, because then they're going to hear you speaking to them and then they're going to want to engage, okay? It's not about going viral. It's about getting high quality viewers, and high quality viewers turning into high quality leads, turning into high quality clients, turning into high quality case studies. Now, when you niche down, your content competes less, because for me, for example, if I make general marketing content, I've got to compete with everybody doing that. But if I focus just on high level, I cut out everybody who's not talking about marketing agencies with high level. And I take it a step further and say I work with local service-based businesses, or people who want to work with local service-based businesses. And I just cut out everybody else. If they're saying, well, we can work with real estate agents, we can work with just about anybody else, right? I'm saying I have a very specific process. So I'm niching down not only who I want to work with, but that then translates to a more specific, focused content and messaging, right? That's why you're probably here watching this video. And then, of course, that's going to convert more, because now you have people who view you as a higher expert, so they are becoming a higher quality lead, right? Number two, the sales cycle becomes much more efficient. Think about it. If I give you 6 clients in 6 different industries, or if I give you 60 clients in one industry, what's going to be easier to serve? And if you don't believe me, number one, this is actually a number, or a mental exercise, if you will, from Alex Hormozy. This is not from Alec Roy. This is from Alex Hormozy, okay? Number two, I've coached close to 1,000 people in both one-on-one and group settings. Every time somebody says, well, I can sell to anybody, I'm a phenomenal salesman, I'm a phenomenal saleswoman, and I go, great, let's look at fulfillment. Let's say, this bullet point right here doesn't bother you because you're such a great salesperson. Great. How does the fulfillment cycle look? And then, oh, well, how many case studies do you have from that? Oh, well, I don't know, right? So it doesn't work out too well for newer industries, okay? So let's look at this in a visual setting, right? Let's say this is the full cycle. So blue is the sales cycle, and then black is the fulfillment cycle. So let's say you're phenomenal. You can find clients, you market your services, you get on the call, you close them, bada boom, bada bing. You are the man, you're the woman, right? And then fulfillment happens, and because they're all in these different industries, you have to learn every industry again from the top down. So onboarding becomes longer because you don't know what to collect. Setup and customization becomes longer because you didn't know what to collect. So now you're having to go back and ask them, or you're building it and they're going, I don't like that, I don't like that. Revision period is much longer. And then because that happens, it's harder for you to gather accurate feedback. It's harder for you to build a strong case study, and it's harder for you to upsell because you basically just stumbled through that whole process. And it's not like you'll see in this next one, it's not like you're actually building momentum, right? Here's what I mean. Number 3, niching down establishes you as an authority. By solving specific problems in depth, you remove 99% of the competition. Pause this video. You're going to go to search bar. I want you to search up 2 things. Number 1, marketing agency near me. Marketing agency. Look how many results come up. And then I want you to do a second thing. Marketing agency for cleaners. Marketing agency for industry. Put an industry in there. You're still going to see a lot of results, but here's the thing. When you go to those websites, most of them are generalists. They're general marketers, and they have a landing page for just your industry. So if I come in and I say, hey, you're a marketing agency, but you work with all these agencies and you have a page for them, but I am a marketing agency specifically for this one industry, I can now position myself against you as a better expert, right? If you don't believe me, check this out. If you watch like Grey's Anatomy, or if you're familiar with any like those doctor shows, you want the neurosurgeon doing brain surgery. You don't want the nurse doing it. You don't want the anesthesiologist doing it. You don't want the general surgeon doing it, or whoever is generalized, right? Who is it, like Miranda Bailey, right? Great character, but you don't want her doing brain surgery. You want Derek Shepard doing brain surgery, right? So you want the professional doing it when push comes to shove, right? I don't think the general surgeon's an actual position, so please go ahead and make fun of me in the comments. Anyway, potential clients will view you as a trusted authority versus a generic service provider. As you get client wins, this is the point I was making earlier, within a specific industry, those results will attract more and more clients, creating a snowball effect. So let's look at this illustration. Let's say you say, well, I don't need an industry because I can sell to everybody. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get an accountant, you're going to get a lawn care provider, you're going to get a dentist, you're going to get a chiropractor. Let's say the lawn care and the chiropractor, it doesn't go anywhere because fulfillment was too long, you didn't get a case study. Let's say you get one with the dentist. I think this was dentist, bear with me. Dentist, and let's say you get one with the electrician or whatever, right? Now you have a case study here, but this case study isn't going to help you here. It's not going to help you here. It's not going to help you here. it's only going to help you build a sales letter for that specific industry and resonate with more within that specific industry. So a case study for lawn care is going to resonate with lawn care. A case study for dentists will resonate with dentists. A case study with electricians will resonate with electricians. It's not going to resonate with people outside of that space. Okay. Now you can argue it will, but then again, you're watering down your messaging. And if you do actually want to expand who you work with in your focus brand, this is another thing that Hormozi talks about where he says puddles, ponds, lakes. I like to think of like a Russian nest egg where it's like you have the little one and then it goes into slightly bigger, slightly bigger, slightly bigger. So I want you to have that visualization as I explain this. If you do want to expand with who you work with, the market will naturally demand, because what's going to happen is, let's say you're focused on lawn care here. You get a great lawn care case study. What's going to happen is you're going to have somebody who's like, well, hey, I don't do lawn care, but I do stump removal. I do landscaping. I do hardscaping. I do residential contracting. It's like those cousin industries or those neighboring niches, right? They will come to you and say, hey, there's some overlap. There's some spillover. We're relatively similar. Would you work with us? And now they've come to you and you can decide, do I want to work with them or do I want to stay laser focused, right? But basically start narrow and then you can broaden strategically as you scale. Again, think of the Russian nest egg or Hormozi's puddle ponds lake, right? Now you can also niche down by software tools or focus instead of an industry. And I've seen this before where people will ask me this all the time. Well, what if I just do courses? What if I become the guy who does the social media automations? What if I become the CRM guy, right? And this is what a lot of scam affiliates will tell you. They'll tell you, oh, just white label the software. It's your software. Send it off. Good luck. You're going to make so much money, right? Why aren't they doing it? Remember in the beginning, I told you I have my own agency. That's what I'm trying to do this for, to get people in my low ticket so I can get them in my high ticket. I'm very transparent with that. It's hard to remember lies. The scam affiliates will tell you, slap a label on and throw it out there. And then you'll ask them, well, do you do that? Crickets. Almost every single time, crickets. So you can niche down that way, but here's what's going to happen. It's going to reduce you to just reselling SaaS. If somebody tells you this is your own software company, no, it's not. They're lying to you. They are lying to you because you can find out very quickly that it is not your own software. And that's going to require a lot of back-end support. And what's going to happen is because there's zero barrier to entry, anybody in high level can do that. They can white label it and say, oh, we have this software that does exactly what they do. Because you're going more SaaS than SWAS, what's going to happen is you're going to have to compete by lowering your prices. So you're reduced to SaaS. And by the way, that's going to have a high churn and low margins. If you do not believe me, go speak with the high-level affiliate team. Go speak with the Extendly affiliate team. Go speak with the HL Pro affiliate team or their actual teams, support teams. And I want you to ask them this question. Of the agencies that you see do the best, how do they do it? Of the agencies you see do the worst, what do they make? What mistake are they making? And this is exactly what they told me. The SWAS agencies do better because their support, it's hands off and it's custom built. The SaaS agencies have much higher churn, much lower margins. So this information right here, this is not from me. This is from people on those teams. Now, I don't know if they represent their whole company. I'm not going to say they do, but this is from people on those teams. By all means, please fact check me. Now, there is actually one instance in which I would tell you to not yet niche down when you're starting out. And this is the one instance, and I would say 95% of you are not going to be in this category. Now, you may have seen somebody who does this, and they go, I just launched my SaaS brand, and they say SaaS, not SWAS. I just launched my SaaS brand, and we've got 300 customers. We got 400 customers. And this is what I say every time. I wonder what their audience size was before they did that. And then you go and look, and they had 700,000 followers on YouTube. But then they tell you to do what they did, but do you have 700,000 followers? Are they going to help you get to 700,000 followers? Are they going to help you get to 100,000? 10,000? Again, crickets. They're telling you how to do, they're telling you to do what they did. The difference is I'm doing the exact same thing, but I'm starting out and I started out the exact same spot that you started out. I started out with no money. I started out with no audience and I had to build it all. That's what this process takes you through. That's why niching down is so important, to get that targeted messaging and to get that money as fast as you can, ethically speaking, right? So when you have a big audience, a big, large, engaged audience, then you can focus on monetizing that before specializing. So you can say, hey, I've got a big Facebook group, I have a big following, monetize to all of them. When you have those industries coming into you, fulfillment will be a little bit slower, but you can pick which one you like based off those interactions. If you do not have an audience of, I would say, 5,000, 10,000 or more, those are really low numbers. I'd probably would say, larger than 15, 20,000, but let's say 5, 10,000 just to be generous. You need to niche down. You need to master one vertical, and that's going to make you far more efficient and profitable rather than trying to be a generalist. That's what niching down is about. It's not about niche down for the sake of niching down. It's about, I need to make sure that my content is resonating, whether it's ads, email, social media. I go social media, but whatever you're doing, even cold calling, right? You need to be more focused. And again, if somebody comes to you and says, well, I didn't do it that way, congratulations. You either A, got extremely lucky, which, by the way, I've never seen somebody do, in a B, post-COVID society. COVID hit, everybody went home, they said how to make money online, they all started doing the exact same thing. There's became so much noise in the space that you have to niche down to get rid of the noise. I had a lady a few weeks ago on Facebook, and she said, well, I built my agency. And I go, did you build it before COVID, like I said? And she went, yeah, but that has no impact. When did you build it? 2012. So you built it when social media platforms had just started marketing abilities. They just released their own pixel abilities. Yeah. I'm talking about starting and scaling in a post-COVID society when everybody ran home to make money online. Okay? There's a big, big difference. Again, if you don't want to listen to me, by all means, go out, try it out. I wish you the best of luck. When you want to wake up and do it faster, come on back here. Okay? Now, the key considerations, how do we actually pick the niche? Now that we know we need to pick the niche, how do we actually pick the niche? And this is actually not too long. This is actually a pretty quick part, even though it looks like there's a lot here. So is there such thing as a perfect niche? No, it doesn't exist. Get that concept out of your head. There's so much money spent every day. The question you need to ask instead is, what's the best industry for me? That's a good one. And that's what this training covers. As you've seen before, this is the flow chart. The niche will dictate the offer because what we're selling should depend on who we're selling to, right? You probably wouldn't sell bikes to, paralyzed people. You wouldn't sell a bike to a quadriplegic, right? It wouldn't make sense, right? On the other hand, you probably might want to sell bikes to people who bike for competition or bike for leisure or bike, as a hobby, right? Or maybe they're mountain biking. Maybe they're riding bikes on the road. Maybe they're riding bikes to get to work, right? So who you're selling to depends on what you're trying to sell them. So we need to understand A, who do I want to sell to before I understand B, what am I selling them? So that's what this flow chart basically explains, and we'll revisit this as we go. Now, building your business in the proper order is going to help you build it as fast as possible. Because again, if you disagree with me and you want to go and say, well, I don't want to pick a niche, you're going to come right back here. You're going to start right back at square one. So again, it's just easier to start this way. And it's free. I'm showing you how to do this for free. So it's not like I'm getting anything out of that besides the 3 things I talked about above. Now, in that case, we need to take the most logical and efficient approach, and we need to choose the best industry for you based on you, okay? So first, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to consider these overall categories that are pretty general. Then we're going to consider you yourself, you watching this, okay? Number 1, service area. We want to make sure that we're working with local service-based businesses. Here's why. If you work with a client that serves the whole U.S., you can only work with one agency. Otherwise, you have 2 people serving the whole U.S., they're competing, right? If you want to service different regions of the U.S., and again, if you're outside of the U.S., just apply this to your own region or your own geography, right? But if you're inside the U.S., how many regions can you work with in the U.S.? You can argue, 5 to 7 regions, which means you can work with 5 to 7 clients before you're overlapping and competing. If you work with a client that services different states, you're stuck at 48 continental, 50 total. If you include territories, and you go even a little bit higher, right? Now, if you work with clients that service different cities, now you're getting closer to like 20K, right? Cities or counties. Now you have a much higher number. Now, why does this matter? Well, not only can you work with more clients, but you need to consider what happens if you lose one of your clients. If you work with one client and you lose it, that's 100% of your money. 5 to 7, you lose one, that could be 20%. 48 to 50, you lose one, that could be 2%, right? But if I have 100, 200, 300 clients, now it's not going to impact me as much, and I'm going to be able to find another client much faster. On the other hand, if you target clients that are too small, like, a city of that has 2 stoplights, it's going to be really hard to get them results because there's just fewer people in their purchasing area. So just be aware of the service size. So we understand local service-based businesses. Local refers to a city or county level. Next, let's look at evergreen marketability. We need to consider demand and marketability, 2 different factors, okay? Demand simply refers to how often the market requests certain services. Certain services are evergreen, meaning they will last for a very long time. Marketability, on the other hand, refers to how easily you can promote an industry or an offer. When you market something, you're essentially attempting to create demand around that offer. So we want to consider markets that have either inherent demand, they're evergreen, or markets in which we can create demand, marketability. So here's some examples. Doctors, lawyers, accountants. Those are going to be really evergreen because people are always going to need those things. Lawn care, Landscaping, you could argue that they're evergreen. You could also argue that they're marketable, right? So if someone's saying, well, I've cut my lawn for my entire life, you could argue that you could create ads to kind of entice them to say, hey, stop mowing your lawn, let us do it for you, right? Maybe it's really hot out, or maybe you're getting older, maybe it's just a waste of your time, right? We'll do it for cheaper. So that's where you would try to create some marketability around it, right? Landscaping, HVAC, mechanics, those would be, I would argue, both evergreen and marketable. Insurance, evergreen and marketable. Videographers and photographers, maybe not as evergreen, maybe more marketable than evergreen, but the fact of the matter is that they all have a little bit of both, right? If I had a Venn diagram, they would all be in more so in the middle or closer to the middle where the overlap is taking place, right? Now, evergreen and marketable industries are the best ones to select. On the other hand, you can opt to work with industries that are only evergreen or only marketable, but you need to be aware that you're going to have to match your offer to adapt, and we'll cover that in the very next training. Now, how do you pick a niche? So we've understood, let's look at the key categories. Service area needs to be local service businesses at the city or county level, and we need to make sure that the industry is both evergreen, so it has inherent demand, and we can actually market it, right? It's going to be really hard to market window repair unless you're going around breaking windshields, right? So it needs to be marketable and evergreen and marketable. So now that we understand the general approach or the general categories, let's look at you. And now again, we want violence of action. That means we want to attack these tasks as fast as possible without sacrificing quality. Regardless of what we're about to consider, you need to remember that the intention should always be the exact same. We want to make sure that you pick an industry or a niche that you understand on a fundamental level, or you can quickly understand on a fundamental level. Again, this is going to allow you to resonate with your people so you can convert higher and collect money much faster. And we only want to select one industry, so again, we can craft and perfect one claim, one funnel, one digital presence, one sales process, one fulfillment process. Yes, there's variables, but we want one main baseline to go off of, okay? And again, if you're still arguing with me that, well, I can pick multiple industries, number one, I'm surprised you made it this far in the video, but number two, if every single major company picks one industry, one niche to focus on when they're starting out, what makes you think that you can pick 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Be realistic. And again, if you disagree, go out and try, let me know. For the rest of you who understand the importance of this and what I'm trying to communicate, let's continue. Number one, you can leverage your past. So if you have direct past experience, I would recommend considering that industry, right? More than likely, if you worked as a lawn care or as a dental assistant, for example, if you worked as a plumber, if you worked as an accountant, a marketer, photographer, whatever, then you would understand the language they speak. Furthermore, when you speak the same language, you not only can understand what the client's asking and saying, but you can make them feel understood, which is a major component of effective marketing, sales, and closing. Not to mention, if you actually worked in that industry, then you have several ideas of what did and didn't work and what could and couldn't work. So you can bring those ideas to the table and they're going to view you as an expert, or at least as somebody who's a little bit credible because you're saying things that logically they would agree with, right? Even if your past education, whether it was a collegiate education or in the trade fields, those can factor into choosing an industry. So you don't have to necessarily have worked 5, 10, 15 years. I'm not saying go out and get experience first. I'm simply saying you can just know things about the industry that's going to give you enough of a background or enough of an edge to resonate with your target audience. Number two, you can leverage your connections. And again, these 4 things I'm showing you, you can do them all together, or you can just pick one, or you can pick a combination of them. So don't feel like you have to do all 4, okay? Number two, you can leverage your connections. Let's say you have indirect experience. Maybe you grew up around friends or family that owned businesses. And while you may not understand them as deeply as you would a business that you worked for or that you owned yourself, you're going to know enough to get started. And you could even go to those friends and family and you could interview them, or you could even work with them to get your first case study. And that's going to help you get started very quickly. And one of my first students actually did this. He lived in Australia. He worked with his parents in a pharmacy. He did a database reactivation, and he basically made them $1,400 in 2 hours, $2,800 total in that weekend, and in that whole week it was $7K, right? It was so cool. If you're in State University, by the way, you can scroll through the group and see the posts he made. But I want to ask you, how happy do you think his family was? How powerful do you think that case study was for him starting out if he wanted to work with other pharmacists, right? The third thing, you can leverage your skill sets. Now, this one is a super unique approach. We actually have a few people in State University who are doing this and who have done this. It's a really, really cool thing. One of my favorite people to work with, or one of my favorite types of people to work with. But you can essentially build the very business that you want to coach. So for example, and I'll change this to the example of the 2 people we have, I had somebody who built a pressure washing business to establish credibility while he learned the industry. Then he wanted to go and work with them. We have a guy right now who's working with stump removal. Then his plan down the road is to eventually switch into more of a SWAS agency versus his own stump removal business, right? So you can do this with any business. You build it, You master it, and then you can take that experience and coach others who want to do the same. Now, it's definitely a long game approach, but it can be used to scale super efficiently because you're making money while gathering experience. Then you're building your business using the same marketing skills while getting paid. Then you're taking it and paying others while automating the business in the past. So it's a really, really cool process. You definitely need a lot of free time. So it either needs to be your full occupation, like you own the business and you're starting high level, or you need to have summers off, like a student or a teacher, right? And I've actually had a student pressure wash in the summers, and I had a teacher who every day on the way to and from work, he was calling, closing people, and then he pivoted into social media, and I think he actually just stopped teaching it and he moved into this full-time, right? So it's also super effective if you aren't 100% on starting an agency. So let's say you have your own business and you're in pressure washing, or you're in, lawn care, or you're in stump removal, and you're like, do I want to start my own digital agency? Well, use these skills to scale up. You have your niche, it's going to be the one you're in. Use these skills to scale up your business, and then you can make that call. Do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to do both, right? So it basically gives you a fallback plan that's, again, paying you as you learn. Now, whatever works, you would then take and you would use that to scale others in the same industry. Whatever doesn't work, you would then say, hey, don't do this. Some marketers will tell you to do it, but I'm going to tell you not to do it. And that, again, is going to build credibility with you much, much faster. Now, this method is extremely effective for home service businesses because those avatars typically only trust people that they can heavily relate to. So it's a really, really effective for those home service businesses. So that'd be like if you're going to people's house to clean, going to people's house to cut grass, going to people's house to build things, going to people's house to fix things, right? And the fourth and final piece is leverage your personality. So one of the most impactful considerations is your personality. So when I work with clients, I want to look at two main factors: your personality type, but also the type of content that you're comfortable promoting, okay? So if you're nerdy, you could work with accountants. If you are nerdy, you could also work with maybe lawyers or maybe SEO agencies, right? If you're really deeply American, like you just got that eagle in your blood, right? You could consider blue collar industries. So you get the idea. Basically match your personality type with the industry that resonates with you, right? It's going to help you resonate much deeper. At the same time, if you have things that maybe you're afraid are going to prevent you from resonating, so let's say, for example, we have a lot of people overseas that come into the community and they're like, well, I have a thick accent. Leverage the accent. Leverage the things that you think are holding you back. There's nothing wrong with having an accent, but let's say you're thinking that's affecting you. Leverage the accent in your content to basically show why people should work with you. But it's going to require you to be brutally honest with yourself to ensure that you are connecting with the right people, right? Furthermore, you want to make sure that you confidently make content for whatever industry you select. I had a guy come to me, he said, I love salons, they check every box. And I go, cool, are you comfortable making content for salons? And he said, no. Maybe don't pick the one that you don't want to make content for, right? Maybe pick the industry you're okay associating yourself with and your brand with, right? Nothing wrong with a man working with salons. He just didn't want to do it. And I just wanted to point that out to him before he jumped with both feet in, right? So you need to own the industry through and through. You got to claim it as your own. You have to be okay with people associating you with it and it with you, okay? Now, once you select your industry, you need to do some research and hypothesizing to create your offer, which we're going to cover in the next video. Now, at the end of the day, please just pick a niche that you can master the fastest and start. I cannot tell you how many people are limited and they're held back from taking action because of the niche selection. So use the categories I've covered, initiate your journey ASAP, as soon as possible, attack it, violence of action, and use those categories just to tell you which ones to use, okay? At the end of the day, choose the one that meets this criteria, both the general and who you are, and start. Remember, the intention of niching down is to have targeted messaging and streamlined fulfillment. Translation, I want you to find clients easier and collect money faster. And if you can do that without anything that I just told you, by all means, be my guest. I'm not going to be upset because you succeeded doing things a different way than my way. I want you to win. I'm just sharing what I've seen worked for me and for my hundreds of clients that have come through Sacer University. So action items. Here are your assignments for this training. Number 1, do you have a large audience? If you have near or over 10K, market to the audience. If not, you got to niche down how we just covered it. Number 2, I want you to make a list of potential industries that fit the criteria above. Number 3, I want you to do light research, and we'll cover that a little bit, but I want you to do light research on those industries and the needs of the clients, and then I want you to write out the pros and cons of each. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next training. Number 4, once you have the niche that you want to work with, that you're the most passionate about, and you can become an expert in quickly, go all in, attack it. There's no, well, that industry could have been better. That industry could have been better. You're going to sit there twiddling your thumbs, over analyzing because you couldn't just commit to one. any industry that you pick, there's going to be pros and cons. You're not going to find a perfect industry. There's no perfect industry. Just like there's no perfect partner in life. There's no perfect husband. There's no perfect wife. It's just, what is the most perfect fit for me? How do I deal with the parts that are maybe not so great? It's the same. Picking an industry, it's like going into a marriage. It's like going into a relationship. There's things you like. There's things you don't like. Make sure the things you like outweigh the things you don't like. And the things you don't like are things that you can mitigate and you can deal with. From there, attack it. Now, again, if you want this entire folder of trainings, all you have to do is go to my Facebook page, go to my Instagram page, check the pinned post, and it will tell you exactly how to get it for free. It's going to be at Alec J. Roy. Now, you can do this whole thing alone, okay? I'm going to have more trainings coming out, but you can do this whole thing alone, which is extremely challenging, or you can just work with me directly. If you want to work with me, we're going to get you results faster and quicker than if you were to do it alone. You're going to be able to get your case studies faster. You're going to have higher quality case studies. You're going to get exact script frameworks. You're going to get scripts for your social media, for your DMs, your sales calls. You're going to have scripts for all of that. And you're going to be able to create a protocol that allows you to scale up while retaining previous customers. Now, when you join Sales University for free as my affiliate, or again, you can buy in directly, I'm going to guide you on building your entire funnel and social media strategy. You're going to have a one-on-one onboarding call and a group coaching environment. So you will speak with me one-on-one, just the two of us, for 45 to 60 minutes. You're going to have access to my full antithetical market offer. So this training that you're seeing here, it is a watered down, streamlined version. There's a full in-depth training that we cover. You're going to get free website and funnel reviews. You're going to get immediate access to trainings released centered on client acquisition, scaling, fulfillment, optimization, and much, much more. There's bi-weekly, twice a week, 90-minute group coaching calls. You're going to learn how to streamline and automate your business using a Six Sigma practice that I have tailored to local service-based businesses. And we have local SEO core segments dropping monthly. And we're right now designing an agency snapshot. So all you have to do is tailor it to your funnel and your automations, which you're going to get as well. And I don't even list it here, but we have actually 20 more snapshots in the pipeline that we're releasing every single month that are industry specific. So it'll be things for like painters, plumbers, lawn care, dentists, cleaners, right? So we're actually dropping a snapshot every single month. So there's a link here. I'll put it below as well. And again, if you want access, just check out the socials. This is 100% free. In the next video, you're going to see step 3, where we're going to start getting into learning exactly what to offer our clients. Hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next training. Have a good one.